So Mosab, Hassan, Yousef, who I love and adore. All right. Why the United States wisely paused the strikes on Iran? Cost-benefit math between regime change and precision hits. The benefits were insufficient, consequences too severe. One, agree. Second, disagree. Why? The first part, I agree. The benefits were insufficient, 100%. There is no guarantee that it would have done nothing. It would have done something. That's why the benefits were insufficient. What it would have done if it would not have toppled the regime is embarrassment. And Americans are very sensitive people. Very sensitive. This is why if they have a little slight sense of a smell of a failure, they panic. They cannot tolerate failure at all. Intolerance towards failure is not strength. It's actually a weakness. It's a vulnerability that could be easily exploited, which I talked about when I talked about Mamdani and why he could sell some ideas to the Americans, because he used the vulnerability of Americans not being at all tolerant towards failure. So go watch that stream if you want me to, like, you hear that explanation. All right, consequences too severe, disagree. Why? Wouldn't change much. It would have not changed the same consequences were the same. I said, even before they started slaughtering people, I said, I figured out there is a severe water shortage in Iran. They had a solution. The solution was to kill everyone. No people, no water shortage. Nobody to drink water, no need for water. Easy peasy. They live, and this is one of the consequences or the privilege or the curses of having oil. When you have oil, you can use oil, extract it out of the ground. You need the 5 people to extract the oil out of the ground. You need a military that basically lives off the oil that is extracted from the ground. And that's it. You don't need a population, actually. You don't need people. You don't need them. What are they for? Saffron? Pistachios? Whatever. No big deal. Kill them. Easy. So the consequences would have not been too severe. The only reason it might have made the consequences were too severe is to further American reputation. Which honestly is not that amazing anyway. So I don't think it would have changed that much either. At least they would have gained the image of, they said they're going to do something, they did something. At least they tried, right? So I don't even think the reputation is at a point where it could be that hurt. And when it comes to like inner politics in America, you guys are screwed anyway. So, I mean, your guys are screwed. There needs to be a miracle for America not to be screwed with its inner politics. That miracle could be proper bringing down of the Iranian regime. So consequences too severe? No, I don't think it would have changed much. The negative impact of any strike outweighs its value in punishing the regime. In the end, it was cost-benefit calculation. I don't know. I do think it would have had, if there isn't any strike coming, it would have been better to strike half-assed. Like I say, like even with the Kurds, right? Even though they are now slaughtered, you living. So just imagine you have cancer, right? You're a cancer patient, and you can die now or die in 10 years. Would you get treatment or not? 10 years is a lot of time to live for a person. And when you get Islam in your country, it's like you're dying of cancer. So it's going to be like, okay, it's better to have 10 years of living, right? It gives you hope, you know, in the time of, by the time the 10 years, you might find a new cure for cancer. Stuff like that. It's very important. Choose life, choose the blessing. So in the end, I think the only way there, I think it would have been better to strike than not to. But I also think that something smarter is on the way. Is it because I trust the Americans? No, it's because I trust the Israelis. Actually, I think the Israelis are have vested interest, so that's why. That's what I'm counting on. Because if it, it's like, because this is where I feel like, okay, at least if it's the Israelis not doing anything, I can go down and burn the streets. I don't know, so do something. Not exactly my style, but whatever. Yes, guys, buy me coffee, please. Support this channel. Nobody bought me coffee in a while now, and seriously, I need it. So I would really appreciate buying. And yes, please smash the like. All right, let's continue. The 12-day war aimed to destroy Ayatollah's nuclear program. He retreated fast to keep his grip from slipping. He didn't retreat fast to keep his grip from slipping. He was running out of ammo and launchers. That's why. Yes, he used that time to rebuild the stock. So it's not that he retreated fast to keep his grip from slipping. His grip wasn't slipping, actually. During the entire 12-day war, the Iranians were faggots. Sorry. But striking to topple him altogether, that's a whole different beast. He'd be cornered, forced into existential fight. The United States didn't pack enough punch. No solid intel, no element of surprise, domestic noise, fear of vacuum, and a dragged-out war we simply can't pay for. Here is where I disagree. War is coming whether you want to or not. If you do nothing, damned if you do, damned if you don't, okay? If you do, at least you have a chance of succeeding. If you don't, then for sure you know what the outcome is. And this is what I wrote in the to Trump when it came to the intelligence assessment, when on the 12-day war, right? When I was asked to review the report that was given to Trump. And I said, sweethearts, you don't understand. Iran's regime would either, one, turn to North Korea, two, topple, and you get chaos. Those are two things. Whether you strike or you don't, it's gonna happen anyway. But if you strike, at least you have a chance of changing the course of history. Where if you take action, you have, it's like, you have a rolling stone, a huge one, a boulder, rolling, right? And it's going to get there because no water, no food, cracks on the ground, cities falling apart, pollution that is insane corruption. It's all happening anyway. So the regime would have turned into North Korea if it got nukes. But with famine and thirst and 90% of the population dying, or it would turn into chaotic mess with 90% of the population dying. Or you can do something and maybe change the course of this stone. So the drag out war, that was coming anyway. That is coming anyway. What would you think would happen? And it's not just Iran that's running out of water. It's the entirety of the Middle East that's running out of water. Even the Arab countries like Saudi Arabia are on borrowed time. Egypt is on borrowed time. That is very short. It's coming anyway. Why pretend it's not? Why pretend? So here's the thing. This is how, and this is what I said to Trump. You either take action and then you have a chance of changing history, or you're gonna get everything you are afraid of anyway. So domestic noise fear, that's what you're gonna get anyway. Yeah. So even if we bombed nonstop, those thousands of IRGC missile trucks would have stayed buried deep in the mountains mirroring Yemen. So here is where I start disagreeing less and less. Because there is something that is called bias, and I'm going to bring bias to the table. Here's the bias that I bring with me. I've traveled the world throughout since I was very young to this day, and I've got the honor of meeting people from all over the world. Iranians these are quality people. Iranians are quality people. I've met Iranians, and they are not like Arabs. They're not, and Yemenites are like scary. They are not. They are not. And this is one of the reasons why, and I'm gonna get to it. It's gonna come. So the choice of Yemen already kind of hurts my soul, because you need not only see what the potential, like, yes, 30% of Iran are like Yemen, but if we kill the right 30%, we're gonna get a good country. As in Yemen, 100% are Yemen. The IRGC militias would have grabbed them post-collapse, firing endlessly, no way out. Nobody's cracked Yemen endless launches yet. They just keep choking the whole region. How do we even handle that without boots on the ground, without storming Iran on full? So here's what you have different. Iranians are your boots on the ground. In Yemen, you only have Yemenites. So this is how you fight. You have boots on the ground. This is why Israel could have done so much on the 12-day war. This is the part of the post where I'm like, this is Arab. This is an Arab speaking. Those Iranian protests, nowhere near real revolution, no backbone, no leader tough enough to step into sudden chaos. This is something I want to say and make and explain right now. This is both the tragedy and the blessing. It might look like a tragedy in the short-term sense, but it's a blessing on the long term. People who are democracy-oriented cannot have a tough leader. They cannot. Those are contradictory. Like you cannot have both operating systems running where you have nuance and debate and democracy with a boot crushing, soul crushing, whatever, like strong leaders like that. Unfortunately, but also fortunately. And I say that, like, compare that. I want to say, like, everything that he's saying right now is true for the Jews that were in ghettos as well. Nowhere near real revolution, no backbone, no leader tough enough to step into sudden chaos. They're all stepping into sudden chaos. They're all on the streets. They were all shot. They are all ready. They are decentralized. But that's a good thing if you want to. This is what gives me hope that Iran could be a democracy. That's the internal problem with right-wing versus left-wing. Left-wings are a lot more authoritarian in their nature, and they're a lot better with organizing than they are out in the streets a lot more than right-wing people. Right-wing people tend to stay more at home. It's very hard to move them out. It's very hard, but they're a lot more democratic. They're better in when it comes to actually running a country, they are better at running a country. Unfortunately, sometimes things are contradictory. And this is where I'm like, Mosab, you're an Arab. That's Arab thinking. And I agree, right? It would have been easier. But that's how you get Islam or communism. You don't get democracy from someone like that. Everything he wrote here could have been used as a pretense not to help the Jews during World War II. Because everything he wrote until now, with IRGC and 30 like being the Nazis and then the Jews being useless, basically, is true. But once you liberate them, you get civilization. And sometimes I say, trust the Iranians. Trust. IRGC would have slaughtered hundreds and thousands before letting go. Here again, IRGC would have slaughtered. It was the plan from the get-go. I'm telling you that they meant in the summer, in the upcoming summer, when the water would have went down again, they would have surrounded cities that they deemed unnecessary and sieged them until everybody in the city died. And then there is less water to worry about. So it would have happened anyway. And that's so important to understand. You need to know what the Iran situation is like. You have to be realistic. If a regime is not willing to do anything to solve food and water crisis, what other solutions do you think they have? No population, no water crisis. That's the only logical solution. You just put the facts down on a paper. Put the facts down on the paper and understand. The regime is unwilling to do this and that and that. So you have to start being honest and saying, okay, clearly they will not improve Iran. It's not something in their interest. They spend all their money right now, not on improving their water systems, but on rebuilding their ballistic missile stock. So what are they trying to do? Then they are clearly willing, because there is no indication that they are not willing, to kill the entire population. So it is big, and this is why real, honest journalism is needed. Somebody needs to go on the mainstream media and tell them, sweethearts, that was the plan from the get-go. Millions would have died because that was the plan. Military push to yank the regime out has huge fallout. Compare that to the clean midnight hammer hit on nukes night and day. Wars born from revenge drain everything and leave scraps. That's also Arab thinking. I'm sorry. Not everybody lives by the blood laws of the Bedouins. The blood laws of the Bedouins, they never let go of revenge. But if we were thinking like Arabs, and if it's like if you take the Jews, why are we not raping Germans right now? In this, like, why not? Like, I think we have, like, for at least 100 years or more, 200 years, we have the free pass to rape as many Germans as we want, at least, if not outright kill them when we feel like it for revenge. Why don't we do that? Because we're not Arabs. Not everybody thinks like that. The fate of 90 million people facing a Syrian-style civil war that could last a decade or two. It's not the Syrian-style civil war. I understand the sentiment. I don't think it's a Syrian-style civil war. I don't feel like delving too much into it. If you guys want me to, then I will. All right. Next move on the Islamic Republic better be cold, sharp, ready, built on long years of groundwork like the Mossad poured into the 12-day showdown. We don't have that time, unfortunately. And I'm not talking about like them rebuilding their nukes and stuff. I'm talking about like water. We weren't even close to that level here. The president pausing that strikes is staring down all this mess, showed real strength and restraint, kept anger in check, proved true leadership. Quietly wise. I agree. By the way, it does take true leadership to be like. I think that Trump in general shows real leadership. Not always does he have the best people around him, or the best information, or the best advice, but he is a leader.